we may actually be in store for a warmer and drier than normal summer. I think you're going to perceive it as much nicer than last summer. Last summer, it got off to a wet start in June. We had a break. It seemed like we were sort of getting our footing, and then it got wet again later in the month, and July and August were very wet. We racked up the 90-degree days, but we couldn't sustain long stretches of dry weather, so overall the summer had 19 inches of rain, and the good news is I don't see a pattern like that this summer. Even though we've gotten off to kind of a slow start here in April and May, and we seem to be struggling to get over the hump, last year, April was way below average. I mean, historically, one of the colder Aprils, and this one was actually a touch above average. So even though you're thinking, well, maybe it's been a little bit cool and damp, it's really not so bad. And in terms of this summer's heat, I don't think it'll be delayed. I think it'll waste no time getting right into summer, so you won't be hoping, when is it finally going to get warm? We'll get right into it in June. Each month looks like it'll probably be 1.5 degrees above average. What does that mean? That doesn't sound like much. Statistically, it actually is, though. We'll be above average. We'll get those 90-degree days pretty often. The typical number of 90-degree days is around 17, and I think you'll perceive it as being a pretty hot summer. It'll even, extend into early September. I don't think we'll, have an abrupt end to summer, which is nice, too. So when we're putting together a summer forecast, we're looking at signals from the atmosphere and from the ocean. And when we get those signals, we look back and we look at analogs. What years had a similar look, and how did those summers play out? And it gives us a general idea of what the weather pattern might be like. So for instance, this year we have an El Nino pattern. It's not terribly strong, but it is a warming of the Pacific waters along the equator. At the same time, we've got the steering winds, or the jet stream, taking a dip over the middle of the country and not over the eastern U.S. The jet stream will be riding farther to the north, and that means we'll have a little less protection against a tropical system that may be threatening the East Coast. We still have an El Nino going on. That typically will inhibit hurricane development, but that El Nino may actually weaken during the season, so it's a little bit of a tricky forecast. Right now, the forecast probably is going to be close to normal in terms of the overall numbers of tropical systems, which is 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes. I think our concern will be classic a little later in the season as we go through September and into October. And if the Atlantic sea surface temperatures stay warm and the El Nino weakens a little bit, then I'd be concerned about a threat along the East Coast. So I'm just a little worried about that pattern. So that's the trade-off. That's the AccuWeather team's summer and hurricane forecast. You can always get our summer forecast on ABC7NY. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.